Dear children, today we are going to start our class with the topic Bernoulli's principle. What is the Bernoulli's principle or Bernoulli's theorem? So, Bernoulli's theorem states that for a streamlined fluid flow, the sum of the pressure, the kinetic energy per unit volume, and the potential energy per unit volume remains a constant. The equation, Bernoulli's equation is P, sum of the pressure, P plus kinetic energy per unit volume, half rho V square, plus potential energy per unit volume, rho GH. It should remain a constant. Okay. So, what is the kinetic energy per unit volume and the potential energy per unit volume? So, we can write kinetic energy per unit volume. That is kinetic energy per unit volume. So, what is the kinetic energy? That is half mv square divided by volume. So, we can write half into m by v into v square. So, what is the mass by volume? That is the density. That is half rho v square. So, this is the kinetic energy per unit volume, half rho v square. Then second one, potential energy per unit volume. So, we can write potential energy per unit volume. What is the potential energy? mgh divided by volume. So, we can write mass by volume into gh. So, that is equal to rho gh. Clear? So, this is the potential energy per unit volume. So, in this way, we will get the equation P plus, that is kinetic energy per unit volume, plus potential energy per unit volume, and it should remain a constant. So, to derive this equation, we should follow some assumptions. This Bernoulli's theorem is formulated by the scientist Daniel Bernoulli. Okay. To derive this equation, we have some assumptions. So, first we should consider a pipe. The fluid flows through this pipe, and the first assumption is the pipe having the cross-sectional area, that is varying cross-sectional area. Pipe having the varying cross-sectional area. So, fluid flows through the pipe having varying cross-sectional area. A2 is greater than A1. Second assumption, the height of the pipe at its two ends are different. So, here H2 is greater than H1, and the fluid flows through the pipe is incompressible. Incompressible means even if we apply pressure, the volume is not reduced. So, the fluid is incompressible one. Then the fourth assumption is the fluid is the steady flow. Then the fifth assumption, there is no energy lost due to the friction. That is, the fluid is non-viscous fluid. That is, there is no friction in between the fluid layers. The frictional force arises in the fluid is known as the viscosity. So, here the friction is not there. So, there is no energy lost. Okay. So, these are the assumptions we are doing before going to derive this equation. So, here now we want to derive the equation, that is a P plus a half rho V square plus a rho GH. So, here the fluid flows through the pipe from the left end to the right end. So, in time delta T, the fluid moves from B to C. Similarly, in time delta T, the fluid moves from D to E in the right end. And the velocity of the fluid at the left end is V1 and at the right end is V2. And the pressure is P1 and the P2. The distance moved by the fluid from B to C, it is equal to the velocity into time, that is V1 delta T. And similarly at the right end, the distance or the displacement moved by the fluid is the velocity into time, that is the V2 into delta T. So, the work done by the fluid to move from B to C. Okay, what is the work done to move the fluid from B to C, it is noted as W1. We can note it as W1. So we can write W1, the work done to move the fluid from B to C, W1 equal to force into displacement. Force on the first end, that is the left end, F1 into displacement. Clear? So we can write force into displacement. So what is the force? That is the pressure on that end into the area into the displacement. So what is the pressure? That is the P1 into what is the area? That is the A1 into displacement, that is the V1 delta T. So here area into the displacement. So area into displacement, that is the volume of the fluid. So we can write W1 equal to P1 into delta V, that is the volume, P1 into delta V. Okay. Then similarly the work done associated with the fluid to move from D to E. Okay, that is noted as W2. So we can write W2 equal to, okay, W2 equal to force on that side, F2 into displacement. So that is, what is the force here? P2 into A2 into, okay, P2 into A2 into then displacement, that is the V2 delta T. Similarly here we can write W2 equal to P2 into what is the A2 V2 into delta T, that is the volume. So in time delta T, the volume is noted as the delta V, and here that volume, that delta V, that is the volume, is same throughout the fluid because the fluid is incompressible. Okay, so we can write P2 into delta V. So this is the W1 and W2 we get. Then what is the net work done? Okay, what is the net work done? So we can write net work done equal to, okay, net work done on the two ends. Net work done equal to W1 minus W2. So what is the W1 here? That is equal to P1 delta V minus P2 delta V. So that is equal to, we can take the delta V outside. So we can write P1 minus P2 into delta V. Okay, that is the equation number 1. So this is the net work done when the fluid flows from left end to the right end, that is P1 minus P2 into delta V. Then this part of this work done is used in changing the kinetic energy of the fluid because it moves from left end to the right end, and part of this work done goes to change the gravitational potential energy because the pipe is placed at a different height. So its potential energy is changing. So the part of the work done goes to changing the kinetic energy of the fluid, and part of the work done goes to change the gravitational potential energy. So we can write change in kinetic energy. Okay. We can note it as change in kinetic energy, that is delta K. Delta K equal to, what is the kinetic energy? Half mv square. So the kinetic energy is changing from one end to the other end. So we can write half m v2 square. Okay, v2 square minus half m v1 square. Okay, half m v2 square minus half m v1 square. So that is equal to half m into v2 square minus v1 square. The velocity is changing from v1 to v2. So we can write delta K equal to half m into v2 square minus v1 square. So here the mass equal to, we can write, you know the formula, density equal to mass by volume. So mass equal to what? Density into volume. Okay, so for the time delta T, we can write the mass delta m equal to rho into delta v. That is for the delta t, change in time. Time is change in time. Then the mass and the volume is changing. Here the mass and the volume is not changing. Throughout the pipe, the quantity of the water is same and the flow is incompressible. So delta V is also constant. So delta T, for a time delta T, we can write delta M equal to rho delta V. So we can substitute here, that is the change in kinetic energy, delta K equal to half into, what is the delta M? M here, that is the rho delta V into V2 square minus V1 square. Clear? Similarly, part of the work done is goes to change the potential energy. So we can write the gravitational potential energy delta U equal to mgh. Okay, mgh. So that we can write, the height is changing. So we can write mg into h2 minus h1. So here also m equal to rho delta V. So we can write here rho delta V g into h2 minus h1. Clear? So what is the total change in energy? That is total change in energy, that is equal to delta k plus delta u. Okay, delta k plus delta u, that is equal to half into rho, half rho delta V into V2 square. Okay, V2 square minus V1 square plus rho delta V in g into h2 minus h1. So that is the total change in energy, that is noted as equation number 2. Then according to the work energy theorem, okay, you know that you studied already the work energy theorem. So according to work energy theorem, we can write the work done equal to total change in energy. Okay, so you already studied this. Work done equal to total change in energy. So what is the work done here? We already note there, P1 minus, okay, P1 minus P2 into delta V. So that is the work done. So we already calculated. That is equal to, what is the total change in energy? Half rho delta V into V2 square minus V1 square plus rho delta V g into h2 minus h1. So here we can cancel this delta V and then we get P1 minus P2 equal to half rho V2 square minus V1 square plus rho g into h2 minus h1. Then we can rearrange the pressure, kinetic energy and the potential energy at the left hand together and the right hand together. So we can write P1, okay, P1, then half rho minus V1 square. When it comes on the left side, we can write the plus half rho V1 square, then rho g minus h1. When it comes this side, that is the rho g h1 equal to minus P2 comes on the right side, that is the P2, then plus half rho V2 square, then plus rho g h2. Clear? So this is the equation. So pressure, kinetic energy, potential energy at the left hand is equal to sum of the pressure, kinetic energy and the potential energy at the right hand. Okay, so in general we can write, okay, in general we can write P plus half rho V square plus rho GH. It should be a constant because at the two ends the sum of the pressure, kinetic energy and the potential energy is constant. That is same. So we can write the sum of pressure, kinetic energy per unit volume, then potential energy per unit volume remains a constant. So this equation is known as the Bernoulli's equation. Clear? Bernoulli's equation only apply for the steady flow of liquid. It does not hold for non-steady or turbulent flows, because in that situation velocity and pressure are constantly fluctuating in time. So now we can see some special cases. So the first case, when the velocity is 0, that is fluid is at rest. Okay, first case we can write when the fluid is at rest. Fluid at rest means the velocity at the two ends, that is v1 equal to v2 equal to 0. So we can say that is the Bernoulli's equation becomes the first equation p1 plus half rho v1 square plus rho g h1 equal to p2 plus half rho v2 square plus rho g h2. There v1 and v2 are 0. So the Bernoulli's equation becomes p1 plus rho g h1 equal to p2 plus rho g h2. So in general we can write that is the p1 minus p2 equal to rho g into h2 minus h1. Okay. So this is the Bernoulli's equation when the fluid at rest. Then second case, when the pipe is placed horizontal. Okay, when the pipe is horizontal. So when the pipe is horizontal, what happens to the height? That is h1 is equal to h2. Okay, in this case you can write h1 equal to h2. So what happens to the above equation? That is p1 plus half rho v1 square equal to p2 plus half rho v2 square. h1 is equal to h2. So we can write the Bernoulli's equation p1 plus half rho v1 square equal to p2 plus half rho v2 square. So once again we can write in general p plus half rho v square equal to constant. So the Bernoulli's equation becomes p plus half rho v square equal to constant. So from this equation we can write if velocity increases, okay, if v increases, then pressure decreases and vice versa. So with this equation there are so many applications for the Bernoulli's principle. If velocity increases, pressure decreases. Clear? Now we can see some applications of Bernoulli's principle. According to the equation p plus half rho v square equal to constant, velocity increases, pressure decreases and vice versa. So the first application is roof of the huts are blown up during stormy days. What is the reason for this? This is according to Bernoulli's principle. The velocity of the wind is high above the roof during stormy days. So the pressure there is low. This is due to the Bernoulli's principle. But the pressure below the roof is the atmospheric pressure, which is high. Because of this reason, the roof is blown up. Second application, two boats or ships moving in parallel directions close to each other get attracted. This is also due to the Bernoulli's principle. When the two boats come close to each other, the velocity of water between the narrow gap, that is between the two boats, increases, then the pressure there decreases. But the pressure on the outer surface of both the boats or the ships becomes greater than the pressure in the gap. So the two boats are, due to the outside pressure, due to the high outside pressure, the two boats are pulled towards each other. Clear? Third application of Bernoulli's principle is speed of efflux or Torricelli's law. The word efflux means fluid outflow. Torricelli discovered that speed of efflux from an open tank is identical to that of a freely falling body. That is the Torricelli's law. To prove this, That is, he explains in the law that the speed of outflow of a liquid from an open tank is equal to the speed of a freely falling body. To prove this, you consider a tank containing a liquid of density rho. It has a small hole in its side at a height y1 from the bottom. So note the point is 1. The liquid is filled inside the tank at a height y2 from the bottom. The pressure above the free surface of the liquid, that is P. So that point note it as 2. The pressure at the first hole is equal to the atmospheric pressure, and the pressure above the free surface of the liquid is noted as P2, that is equal to P. Here first the tank is closed one. Okay. Then from the equation of continuity we can write A1 V1. A1 is the area of cross section of the first hole, that is equal to A2 V2. A2 is the area of the free surface of the liquid inside the tank. So according to equation of continuity, A1 V1 equal to A2 V2. Here the area cross section at the two ends is different. That is, A2 is very much greater than A1. So you know that when the area cross section decreases, velocity of the outflow of liquid increases and vice versa. Okay, that you know according to equation of continuity. So from this equation we can write V2. V2 equal to A1 by A2 into V1. So V1 is the velocity of the liquid flowing from the first point, first hole, and V2 is the velocity of the liquid flow, that means on the free surface of the liquid. Okay, velocity of the liquid flow on the free surface, that is inside the tank, that is noted as V2. So from this equation we can find out the velocity of the free surface of the liquid, that is V2 equal to A1 by A2 into V1. This is according to equation of continuity. Then we can apply the Bernoulli's principle at the two ends of the tank. Okay, that is the first end here and the second end here. And here area of the tank A2 is very much greater than A1. A2 is very much greater than A1. So if the area is very much greater than A1, then velocity of the liquid at the free surface is approximately equal to 0. So we can write V2 is approximately equal to 0. That is, if the area of the free surface of the liquid is very much greater than A1, then velocity of the liquid at that point is approximately equal to 0. That is, it is almost at rest. Okay. Then we can apply the Bernoulli's principle at the two ends of the tank. So first end, the pressure, that is the P1, that is equal to the atmospheric pressure, P1 equal to PA. So we can apply the Bernoulli's principle on the first end, that is we can write PA plus half rho V1 square. Rho is the density of the fluid and V1 is the velocity of the outflow of liquid from the first end, plus rho G Y1. Y1 is the height of the point 1 from the bottom of the tank, equal to P. Okay, that is the second end. P plus half rho V2 square plus rho G Y2. So here V2 is approximately equal to 0. So once again we can write the equation PA plus half rho V1 square plus rho G Y1 equal to P plus rho G Y2. Clear? Then we can arrange the equation. So you want to find out the V1. Okay, that is half rho V1 square equal to P minus PA plus rho G into Y2 minus Y1. Okay, this rho G Y1, take it on this side. That is the right hand side. So, we can write rho G into Y2 minus Y1. So, from this figure, we can write Y2 minus Y1, that is equal to this height H. So, we can write here Y2 minus Y1, that is equal to H. Then, we can apply the above equation, that is half rho V1 square equal to P minus PA plus rho G H. So, from this equation we can write the V1 square. So, that is V1 square equal to 2. Multiply this 2 with the numerator, that is 2 into P minus PA plus 2 rho GH divided by rho. That is V1. Okay, V1 equal to root of. Okay, then rho and rho. We can cancel this rho and rho. Then we get 2 GH plus 2 into P minus PA divided by rho. So, this is the value of V1, that is velocity of the outflow of liquid from the first end. That is the small hole, that is V1 equal to root of 2GH plus 2 into P minus PA divided by rho. Then you take one condition, if the tank is open, okay, if the tank is open, then what happens here? If the tank is open, then what is the pressure at this point, that is the free surface of the liquid? It is equal to the atmospheric pressure. So, we can write, if the tank is open, this P is equal to atmospheric pressure, that is the free surface of the liquid. Pressure at the free surface of the liquid is equal to the atmospheric pressure. Then this equation becomes PA minus PA, that is equal to 0. So, V1 equal to root of 2GH. So, this is the equation of a V1 equal to root of 2GH. So, this equation represents the speed of a freely falling body. So, that means here if the tank is open, the pressure is atmospheric pressure. So, the outflow of liquid is similar to the freely falling body. So, that equation, that velocity is equal to root of 2GH. That is the outflow, if the tank is open, the outflow of liquid is same as the freely falling body. So, the velocity of that outflow of liquid is equal to root of 2GH. This is the speed of a freely falling body, and this is known as the Torricelli's law, and this is one of the application of the Bernoulli's principle. This is another one application of Bernoulli's principle. Bernoulli's principle helps in explaining the blood flow in artery. In persons suffering with advanced heart condition, the artery gets constricted due to the accumulation of plaque on its walls, on its inner walls. In order to drive the blood through this, a greater demand is placed on the activity of the heart. So, due to this reason, the speed of the flow increases in this region, that is inside the inner walls. So, from the Bernoulli's principle, the inside pressure drops. When the velocity increases, then the pressure at that point decreases. So, due to the external pressure, the artery may collapse. That is, inside pressure decreases and outside pressure, outside the artery, the pressure increases. So, due to this external pressure, the artery may collapse. The heart exerts further pressure to open this artery and forces the blood through. As the blood rushes the opening, the internal pressure once again drops, leading to a repeat collapse. So, if the heart exerts more pressure to open this artery, then and forces the blood through, that is, the velocity again increases, then what happens here? The pressure there decreases and the external pressure increases, and once again the artery collapses. So, this repeated collapse, that means this collapse repeated again and again. So, this may results the heart attack. Clear? So, this is one of the application of Bernoulli's principle.